You're watching TV. Your dog isn't. They're watching you. You get up to refill your water. They track you across the room. You sit back down. They find your eyes again. You haven't said a word. You haven't done anything interesting. And yet, there they are, just looking at you. Most people think their dog wants something. Scientists found out what's actually happening, and it's not what you'd expect. That gaze your dog gives you, the one that feels almost too human. It's been sitting under a microscope for a decade now, and what researchers have found changes how you think about what's happening between you two. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what your dog's stare triggers in their brain and in yours, and why that matters more than you think. Stick around, because the most recent finding from 2024 rewrote what scientists thought they knew about this. Here's what almost everyone assumes. The stare means, I want something, food, a walk, the ball that rolled under the couch. And sometimes, sure, that's exactly what's going on. But here's what breaks that theory. Dogs stare at their owners even when they've just been fed, even when they're not near anything they want, even when they're completely comfortable resting, doing nothing, and they still seek out your eyes. Researchers noticed this too. It didn't fit the wanting something story. And the more closely they looked, measuring hormones, measuring brain activity, running experiments with cameras and urine samples, and eventually EEG headsets, the more it became clear. The stare isn't a demand. It's something much older than that. Something that got built into dogs on a biological level over tens of thousands of years. In 2015, a team of researchers at Azabu University in Japan published a study in Science, one of the most respected journals in the world. And it changed how scientists understand the dog-human relationship. Here's what they did. They brought dog owners and their dogs into a lab. Let them interact naturally for 30 minutes. Before and after, they measured oxytocin levels in both the owner and the dog. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. It's what surges in new parents when they look at their baby. It's what's behind the feeling of closeness and trust. Scientists sometimes call it the love hormone, though that's a little reductive. It's more accurate to say it's the chemical signature of real connection. And what the researchers found was this. When dogs gazed at their owners, oxytocin rose in the owners. That rise in the owner then triggered a rise in oxytocin in the dog. Back and forth, a loop. They called it the oxytocin-gaze positive loop. To test whether this was unique to dogs, they repeated the experiment with hand-raised wolves. Same conditions, same 30 minutes. Wolves didn't do it. The loop didn't activate. Because wolves never evolved the behavior of looking to humans. Dogs did. Your dog isn't just staring at you. They're running a biological feedback loop with you that wolves literally cannot access. That's what 10,000 years of living together built. Okay? So oxytocin rises when your dog looks at you. That's already remarkable. But in 2024, researchers from the Chinese Academy of Sciences took this somewhere no one had gone before. They wanted to know what's happening inside the brain in real time when a dog and a human lock eyes. To find out, they fitted both dogs and humans with EEG headsets. Wireless, non-invasive, measuring electrical activity across the brain simultaneously. And then they had them do something simple. Sit together, look at each other, be petted. What they found stopped people in the research community. The brain synchronized, not metaphorically, literally. The electrical activity in the human brain and the dog brain began moving in matched patterns, in regions associated with attention, social awareness, and empathy. When the human and dog gazed at each other, those regions lit up and aligned. In both species at once. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The synchronization wasn't static, it grew. On day 1 of the study, the coupling was measurable. By day 5, after just 5 sessions of interaction, it was dramatically stronger. The more familiar a dog and human became, the more their brains locked together. The researchers also found that the coupling wasn't bidirectional in the way you might assume. The human brain tended to lead. The dog's brain followed. which makes sense. Your attention, your calm, your presence actively shapes what your dog is experiencing in the moment you share together. When you look at your dog, you're not just seeing them, you're changing them. Now, here's something researchers have started to map more carefully. Not every dog stares the same way. In 2025, scientists at the Family Dog Project in Hungary published a study looking at how dog personality affects gazing behavior. They studied 171 dogs, measuring their gaze patterns in a mildly uncertain situation, and tracked how each dog responded. What they found was that more lively, social dogs sought their owner's eyes more readily. Dogs that were calmer or more independent made eye contact too, just differently, less frequently. This is important. If your dog stares at you constantly, that's one kind of love language. If your dog checks in with glances instead of sustained stares, that's another. Both are the loop. Both are the bond. The behavior looks different, but the biology underneath is the same. Your dog's version of the stare is theirs. It doesn't mean less. So here's where all of this lands. When your dog stares at you, really looks at you, they are doing something that wolves cannot do, something that took tens of thousands of years of living alongside humans to develop. They evolved the ability to lock into your biology, to trigger your bonding system, and to sync their brain to yours. That feeling you get when your dog's eyes find yours? That's not you projecting. That's oxytocin. That's neural coupling. That's two nervous systems that learn to read each other across species lines, across millennia, arriving at the same quiet moment together. Scientists have a word for what happened between dogs and humans during domestication. They call it coevolution. Two species that changed each other. Your dog didn't just adapt to live with you. They adapted to look at you, to find you across a room, and hold your gaze. Because somewhere in the long history of this relationship, that turned out to matter. Want to feel this yourself? Try this tonight. Sit somewhere comfortable with your dog. Don't call them over. Don't offer a treat. Just be still. And when they look at you, hold it. Don't look away first. A lot of owners tell me their dog's stare makes them a little uncomfortable. Like they're supposed to break it. You're not. Let it run. Your dog is looking at you for a reason that goes deeper than any treat or walk or toy could explain. If this got you thinking about the science behind how your dog communicates, the next video is on something your dog does every single day that researchers say reveals even more. Watch that one next.